A church leader, a husband, a father, and also one of America's most disturbing serial killers. Dennis Rader's story leaves behind a haunting legacy, not just for what he did, but for how long he got away with it. He operated in plain sight. He was the guy next door, the scout leader, the church president. He didn't lurk in the shadows, he blended in. And that's perhaps the most chilling part. Because BTK didn't look like a monster. He looked like a neighbor. You're tucked in bed, sound asleep in what feels like the safest place in the world, your own home. The bedroom door creaks open. A shadow moves across the wall. A hand reaches for your throat, and a cold voice whispers, "Don't make a sound, or you're dead." For 17 terrifying years, this nightmare became reality for 10 innocent people in Wichita, Kansas. But here's what made this story even more unsettling. The monster wasn't hiding. He was right there, waving from his lawn, attending church socials, installing your home alarm system. By day, he was a devoted father. By night, he became BTK. By day, he led Boy Scout meetings. By night, he practiced the very knots he taught children on human victims. By day, he served as church president. By night, he turned murder into a ritual of control and domination. For 3 decades, Dennis Rader lived the ultimate double life. He was your neighbor, your fellow churchgoer, the man who helped with charity drives and city ordinances. He wore a mask of normalcy, and that's what made him so dangerous. Before we begin, I want to acknowledge the 10 real people whose lives were stolen by this man. Their stories deserve to be told with respect, and their families' pain remembered. Dennis Lynn Rader was born in 1945 in small-town Kansas. To everyone around him, he seemed forgettable. Average student, quiet kid, eldest of 4 boys in a church-going family. But beneath that surface, something darker was already forming. As a child, Rader realized he was different. While other kids played ball, he was fantasizing about control. He tortured animals. He spied on neighbors. He became obsessed with women's underwear, binding imagery, and sadistic fantasies. Most chilling of all, he knew it was wrong, so he learned to hide it. Even as a kid, he was perfecting the mask he'd wear for life. After high school, Rader joined the Air Force. He married his college sweetheart Paula. They had 2 kids, Brian and Carrie, and settled in the quiet suburb of Park City. He worked installing home security systems. She worked at a VA hospital. From the outside, they were picture perfect. Rader wasn't just active, he was everywhere. Scout leader, church council president, compliance officer for the city. Neighbors described him as firm but dependable, a rule follower, a man who showed up on time and cared about community standards. No one suspected the meticulous predator beneath the surface. Rader later blamed his urges on something he called Factor X, a force he claimed compelled him to kill. But the truth is far simpler and far more terrifying. This wasn't compulsion. This was calculation. He had a system. He called it trolling, driving around, searching for victims, people who caught his eye. Once he selected a target, they became a project. He'd stalk them for weeks or months, learn their habits, study their routines. He carried a hit kit: guns, knives, ropes, tape, plastic bags. He read books on criminal forensics. He monitored news reports. He studied police behavior to avoid capture. And he used his jobs, installing security systems, enforcing city codes, as perfect cover to enter homes, scout locations, and build trust. The very systems meant to protect people became tools in his hunt. Rader's first murders were a whole family: Joseph and Julie Otero, along with 2 of their children, Joseph Jr. and Josephine. That morning, he cut the phone line and entered their Wichita home. What was supposed to be a quick burglary unraveled into one of the most horrific crimes in Kansas history. He tied up the family. He suffocated Joseph Sr. and the young boy using plastic bags. When Julie survived his first attempt at strangulation, he finished the job manually. But what he did to 11-year-old Josephine, hanging her in the basement and achieving sexual gratification as she died, exposed the depth of his sickness. Their eldest son, Charlie, returned home to discover the bodies. That trauma would define his life forever. 3 months later, Rader struck again. 21-year-old Catherine Bright was his next target, but when she came home with her brother Kevin, the plan spiraled. Kevin fought back, hard. He was shot twice but miraculously survived. Catherine wasn't so lucky. When strangulation failed, Rader stabbed her repeatedly. Kevin's survival was crucial. His eyewitness account gave police their first real clue about the killer's appearance. But BTK would slip through again. BTK didn't just kill, he needed credit. When police arrested 3 men for the Otero case, Rader was enraged. In October 1974, he left a letter inside a library book. It laid out gruesome details only the killer could know. And it included the line, "The code words for me will be bind them, torture them, kill them." He had named himself. From there, the letters kept coming. Taunting, mocking, demanding headlines. After murdering Nancy Fox, he called police himself, calmly, coldly, giving them her address and waiting for the chaos to begin.
You will find a homicide at 43 South Pershing, Nancy Fox.
BTK wasn't just hunting victims. He was playing Wichita like a piano. After 1979, BTK disappeared. No letters, no known murders. It was like he vanished. In truth, he was still active, just quieter. He murdered at least 3 more people, including his neighbor Maureen Hedge. He left a Boy Scout camping trip in the dead of night to kill her, then returned by morning as if nothing had happened. He continued living his double life, indulging his fantasies in secret. Souvenirs, photos, hand-drawn torture scenes, all hidden in his private collection. He even kept files on dozens of future projects. To Rader, people were assignments, not humans. Throughout the 80s and 90s, Dennis Rader was Wichita's model citizen. At church, in scouts, on neighborhood patrols. His daughter Carrie later said he taught her right from wrong. His wife Paula had no reason to be suspicious. No signs, no evidence, no second life, until it all came crashing down. He was the very person his wife feared might target them. And she was right. BTK would never harm his family, because he was already sitting at the dinner table. In 2004, a local paper ran a story on the 30th anniversary of the Otero murders, suggesting BTK was either dead or long gone. That insult sparked something. His ego couldn't handle being forgotten, so he came back with a vengeance. He sent crime scene photos, coded puzzles, dolls posed to mimic his victims. But this time, he made a mistake. Rader wanted to go digital. He asked police if a floppy disk could be traced. They said no. So he sent one. Inside were deleted files. Metadata linked to a computer at Christ Lutheran Church. Username, Dennis. A quick search revealed. Church president, Dennis Rader. DNA from his daughter's pap smear confirmed it. BTK had finally slipped up. When arrested, his response was calm. "I assume it's about BTK." In court, Rader detailed each murder without emotion. He spoke like he was reading grocery lists. No guilt, no hesitation, just cold, mechanical recounting. Even his lawyer said he'd never seen anything like it. Dennis Rader is serving 10 life sentences. He'll die behind bars, but the damage he did, that lingers. 10 lives taken, dozens more shattered, a city haunted, families broken, and Kevin Bright, the man who survived him, still carries the physical and emotional scars to this day. Rader wasn't a monster in the shadows. He was the man who led prayer circles, who fixed your fire alarm, who coached your kid's scout troop. The most dangerous predators don't always hide. Sometimes they wave from across the street. Dennis Rader's story isn't just a tale of horror, it's a warning that evil doesn't always wear a mask. Sometimes it smiles. Because BTK didn't look like a killer. He looked like everyone else. What case should I cover next? Drop your suggestions below. And if this helped you understand this complex case, hit that like button. Thanks for watching.